You know that feeling when life throws a bill you technically saw coming, but your brain still labels it as unexpected. The car needs new brakes. Your annual insurance premium renews. Your best friend's wedding is next month. None of this is a meteor from space, but it still smashes your budget. Most people handle it the same way: panic, swipe, promise to be better, repeat. Tonight, we're going to end that loop with a system so boring it's beautiful: sinking funds. If you've ever built an emergency fund only to raid it for predictable costs, this will feel like flipping a switch from chaos to calm. By the end, you'll know exactly what sinking funds are, how much to put in them, where to keep them, how to automate them, and what rules keep the emergency fund sealed for real emergencies, not calendar events wearing a mustache. Start by shifting your definitions. An emergency is unplanned and urgent: the tooth, the toe, the job gap. A sinking fund is for costs that are predictable but irregular. They don't happen every paycheck, but you can name them and you can estimate them. With that one distinction, you stop treating renewal, repair, trip, gift like surprises and start treating them like bills that arrive on a different schedule. Instead of getting stabbed by a $600 car repair in one ugly week, you spread that cost across 12 chill months at $50 a month. Same money. Less pain. More control. Picture your money as a workshop. The emergency fund is a fire extinguisher on the wall. You hope to never touch it. Sinking funds are labeled bins on sturdy shelves: car, medical, gifts, travel, home, tech, pets, education, subscriptions, taxes, whatever your life actually uses. When a project shows up, you open the right bin and pull out what you already prepared. No drama. No raiding the extinguisher. Let's build the shelves. First, list your top 5 irregular categories. Don't overthink it. Write what's bitten you before. For most people, it's car maintenance and repairs, medical and dental out-of-pocket, gifts and holidays, travel, and annual or semi-annual bills like insurance, subscriptions, and memberships. Homeowners add home maintenance and property taxes. Pet parents add vet and food. Parents add school fees, kids' activities, back-to-school gear. Freelancers add quarterly taxes and equipment. This isn't a dream inventory. It's a short, honest list of the next 12 months of reality. Second, put numbers on each. Look back 12 months if you can. If you don't have data, estimate on purpose. Car. If last year you spent $780 on oil changes, tires, and a mystery rattle, round to $800 and divide by 12, about $67 per month into the car fund. Medical. If your deductible is $1,500 and you used around half last year, call it $750 and divide by 12, about $63 per month. Gifts and holidays. Make a list of birthdays and big dates. Pick a total, say $600, and divide, $50 per month. Travel. If you want one modest trip at $12,200 all in, that's $100 per month. Annual insurance premium, $900 due every October. That's $75 per month. Do this for your top 5 and add them up. Many households land between $250 and $600 per month for a solid sinking system. If your first pass totals more than you can handle, triage. Fully fund the big 3, half fund the next 2, and revisit in a quarter. Partial beats panic. Third, choose where these bins live. You've got 3 good options. The cleanest is a high-yield savings account with nicknameable sub-accounts or buckets. Many online banks let you create separate labeled pots under one login: car, medical, travel, gifts, home, etc. This keeps the money out of your checking, but one click away when you need it. Option 2 is keeping everything in one savings account and tracking categories in your budgeting app or a simple spreadsheet. This is flexible, but requires a tiny bit more attention. Option 3 is a dedicated checking account for sinking funds. If you plan to pay a lot of these costs by card, you transfer from savings into this checking before big purchases. Pick the simplest path you'll actually maintain. If your bank doesn't do buckets, don't stall. Open a no-fee online savings account that does, or use One Account Plus a tracker. The goal is labeled money that doesn't get accidentally spent on takeout. Fourth, automate contributions. Set recurring transfers the day after each payday. If you're bi-weekly, split the monthly amounts in half. If car is $67 LMO, set €33.50 per paycheck. If you're paid monthly, fund once. Keep the timing close to payday so the money moves before your brain gets creative. Rename the account to something like Sinking Funds Do Not Touch, and each bucket inside it with loud, obvious names. Friction helps. Visibility helps. The combination helps the most. Fifth, write the emergency fund protection rule and tape it to your brain. Predictable is not an emergency. Tires, property tax, annual premiums, school clothes, holiday gifts, subscriptions, and vacations are predictable. You either know they're coming or you can circle them in a calendar right now. The emergency fund is for the things you cannot name or schedule. If you're tempted to raid it, ask, could I have seen this coming? If yes, it belongs in a sinking fund. If your sinking fund is short, you can borrow from the emergency fund only if you schedule a repayment plan over the next 2 to 3 months. Treat it like a loan to yourself, not free money. Now, let's walk through how it works on regular days. Your car inspection is due next month. You book the appointment and move the estimate from the car bucket into checking the day before. No overdraft, no juggling. Your best friend gets engaged and the destination wedding is in 8 months. You open the travel bucket, set a monthly amount and put the deposit on your calendar for 4 months from now. Your dog needs shots. You pay from the pet bucket. Your homeowner's insurance renews and the mortgage escrow didn't cover it. The annuals bucket says hi. You watch these little oh no moments quietly turn into oh yeah, we planned that. What about when life stacks everything in one ugly week? The car, the crown, the soccer registration, the annual Amazon renewal you forgot about. Sinking funds won't make the costs disappear, but they will change a pile-up from panic to plan. You prioritize by urgency and penalty. Safety first, then health, then anything with late fees or expiring deals. You might temporarily reduce contributions to low-stakes buckets and top them up next month. You might borrow from travel to finish car, then rebuild travel over the next 2 paychecks. The point is, you're moving labeled money, not pulling the fire alarm. Let's talk amounts and caps so you don't hoard cash for no reason. Each bucket needs a target and a maximum. If your car's worst case year is around $12,200, set the car target at $1,200. If it hits the cap and you haven't spent in a while, pause contributions and redirect that monthly amount to the next priority, debt, investing, or another bucket that's short. If you spend down to $400, resume contributions until you're back to target. For annual bills, the cap is obvious, the bill amount plus a little buffer. For travel and gifts, set a year target, not infinity. The point isn't to stockpile forever, it's to glide through known costs. If you're thinking, I can't afford $400 a month into sinking funds, here's the honest fix. You're already paying these costs, just in lumpy, stressful bursts that nuke your month. Smoothing them feels hard at first, but it's cheaper. You avoid overdrafts, late fees, surge pricing, and credit card interest. To get started without magic, do a one-time 30-day seed sprint. Sell the extra stuff that sits, pick up 1 or 2 overtime shifts, and redirect every found dollar into the sinking account to get the first $500 to $1,000 across your top buckets. Then, let the automatic monthly contributions keep them alive. It's much easier to maintain a garden you've already planted. Let's add some life-specific buckets with quick rules. For the car, assume maintenance and surprise repairs. Don't use this bucket for upgrades. Oil, tires, brakes, belts, sensors, yes. Aftermarket rims, no. For medical, fund copays, routine care, and predictable prescriptions. If you have an HSA or FSA, coordinate. Use tax-advantaged accounts first, but a general medical bucket still helps with timing gaps. For gifts and holidays, list names and dates now. Your December self will thank your March self. For travel, separate big trip and weekend visits, or one bucket that you top up aggressively before known travel seasons. For home, plan for filters, paint, small tools, appliance repairs, and an annual set-aside for real maintenance. 1% of home value per year is a classic rule of thumb. If that's too steep, start at 0.25% and build. For pets, plan for food, routine care, emergency co-pays, and boarding if you travel. For tech, assume phones die and laptops retire. Funding $20 to $40 per month beats panic buying on a card. For subscriptions and annuals, write a list of the true annual costs: software, streaming, cloud storage, warehouse clubs, safety deposit box, professional dues. Sum it, divide by 12, and kill what you don't love. For taxes, if you're self-employed or tipped, estimate your effective tax rate, skim that percent from every paycheck, and move it to a dedicated tax bucket you never, ever touch. Save yourself from the April ambush. Where do sinking funds fit with the rest of your plan? The high-level order of operations looks like this. Pay minimums on all debt. Build a micro-emergency fund to $1,000 of true calm. Capture any employer match, if you have one. Start your core investing automation at a small sustainable level, and in parallel, fund your top sinking buckets so you stop blowing up your month. Once the microfund and high-interest debt are tamed, scale the sinking system and raise investing using the +1% rule. Bump your contribution by 1% of pay each quarter until you feel it. Sinking funds and investing aren't enemies. Sinking funds protect your investing from being raided every time a surprise shows up that was actually predictable. Couples and roommates, this will save your relationship. Name the buckets together, agree on targets, and set rules for draws. If one of you is the spender and one is the saver, the spender now has a guilt-free green light to buy gifts and travel because the funds exist, and the saver stops feeling like a hall monitor. Make one 10-minute meeting per month your money stand-up. Glance at bucket balances, adjust 1 or 2 amounts, and celebrate tiny wins. If you have kids, bring them in with a micro bucket labeled Activities and Amp Gear. Let them watch the jar fill and then help spend it on cleats. You're teaching them planning by example, not lecture. What about using credit cards for points? Totally fine with one condition: the money must hit the bucket first. Charge travel to the card only after you've moved the cash from the travel bucket into checking to pay it off in full. Sinking funds and rewards can be friends, but only if you treat the card as a payment method, not a loan. If you've ever watched points-free flights turn into real debt, use the debit-only version for 6 months while you build the habit. Let's run a quick example, end-to-end. You take home $3,800 per month. Your top 5 buckets are car $67, medical $63, gifts $50, travel $100, annuals $75, total $355 per month. You open an online savings account with buckets named for each and set a $355 transfer the day after payday. You seed the account with $300 from selling 2 things you don't use, plus a $55 phone bill loyalty discount you negotiated and immediately redirected to the transfer amount. 3 months in, your sister announces a baby shower. The gifts bucket has $150, enough for a present and travel gas. 4 months in, your brakes squeal. Car has $268, the repair is $420. You move $268 from car and $152 from the small general buffer bucket you also maintain. Next month, you pause travel for 1 cycle and redirect that $100 to refill car faster. No credit card spiral. No emergency fund raid. No shame. Just the system doing its job. Advanced tweaks if you like optimization. Set each bucket with a target and a soft alert. Many apps let you flag when a bucket dips below a number. Create a tiny general sinking bucket for the stuff that doesn't fit anywhere else and cap it at $200 to $400 so it can't eat everything. Use calendar reminders 1 month before each annual bill. If your income is seasonal, flex contributions. Higher in the strong months, lower in the lean months, but never zero on the core buckets. If you get a bonus or tax refund, allocate with a quick formula. Top up any bucket under 50% to 100%. Drop $200 into calm. If it's low, send the rest to investing or debt. If a bucket hits its cap, celebrate with a small treat and redirect the monthly contribution to your highest priority goal. The biggest resistance you'll feel is the voice that says, "I don't want to tie up money in 12 categories." Remember, You're not tying it up, you're untangling it. The money is already committed by your actual life. You're simply admitting that truth early, in small amounts you can handle, so future, you doesn't have to do handstands later. The next resistance is, I'll just remember. You won't. Not because you're lazy, but because you're busy. Externalize memory with labeled accounts and automation, so your willpower can retire. Here's your one-evening launch plan. Step 1. List your 5 most likely irregular expenses for the next year and pick simple yearly totals for each. Step 2. Divide by 12 and add them up. Step 3. Open or repurpose a savings account with nicknames or buckets. Step 4. Set a recurring transfer for the total the day after payday and split it across buckets inside the account. Step 5. Seed the account with any quick wins you can grab in 48 hours. A small sell-off, a bill call discount, an extra shift, and take a screenshot of those first balances. Step 6. Tape the rule where you'll see it. Predictable is not an emergency. That's it. That's a complete system. Next month, you'll tweak amounts by $5.50 and feel like a genius. A year from now, your calendar looks the same. Cars still need brakes, people still have birthdays, policies still renew, but your body won't react the same. No spike of dread. No raiding a fund that's supposed to be sacred. No, I promise I'll put it back next month. Your emergency fund will be boring in the best way, untouched. Your sinking funds will look like a series of tiny acts of love for your future self. And your budget will finally feel like a tool you use, not a fire you fight. So the next time someone tells you to build an emergency fund, nod, and then build the shelves around it. Label the bins. Fund them a little each paycheck. Let boring money win. Because the secret to never raiding your emergency fund again isn't more discipline. It's better design. Sinking funds are that design. Set them up tonight and make every unexpected expense a thing you calmly expected all along.